You think stepping back makes you invisible. It doesn't. It makes you loud in a different way. When you don't chase, you don't vanish. You echo. In her head, in her feed, in the quiet parts of her day she swore you wouldn't touch. Silence isn't empty. It's pressure. It bends the frame. It flips the stage lights. Suddenly, you're not the one auditioning. She is. And here's the twist most men miss. When you stop performing, you become the mirror. She can't help but look. She can't help but ask, why him? Why now? Why doesn't he need me to breathe? So stay with me. I'll show you exactly what starts running through her mind when you don't chase, and how to keep your calm without playing games. Welcome to Brainify On, straight talk, real psychology, and a calm, stoic edge. If you're about clarity over chaos, hit subscribe and turn on all notifications. Drop a quick "I choose calm" in the comments so I know you're one of us. 1. The power check. Why isn't he responding to gravity? A woman who's used to being chased doesn't even realize how automatic it feels until the chase stops. For her, attention is like air. It's not just nice, it's normal. Think about it. From the moment she stepped into her teens, men looked longer, texted faster, tried harder. Compliments became background noise. It's not always arrogance, it's just the rhythm of her life. So when she flashes a smile or drops a little silence, she expects movement. Someone leans in, someone reacts. That reaction is her proof that the gravity still works. Now imagine you don't move, you don't rush to answer, you don't bend toward her pull. You're not cruel about it. You're not hostile. You're simply calm. That calm is louder than any chase because it says something she doesn't want to hear. Your charm isn't automatic here. And right there, the power check begins. She doesn't run to her friends screaming about it. She doesn't post a story that says, "Oh no, he's ignoring me." Instead, it's quiet. It's her in the mirror at night asking, "Did I lose my touch?" She replays moments. Your last smile, the way you leaned back instead of forward, that text you left on read without guilt. To you, it's nothing. To her, it's a fracture in the system she trusted. This isn't about you being cold, it's about you refusing to orbit. And that silence doesn't just feel like space, it feels like rejection dressed in politeness. Women who've built their confidence on being pursued don't know what to do when pursuit doesn't show up. It shakes something inside them. Not always their heart, but their identity. Here's the key, you don't have to posture, you don't have to play games. All you have to do is keep your rhythm steady. Keep working out, keep hanging with your people, keep doing the boring, ordinary stuff that makes your life full. She'll notice the stillness, she'll notice the absence of need. And that's when her mind turns on itself, because it's not about missing your texts. It's about missing the reflection of herself in your attention. And when that reflection goes dark, she's forced to ask questions she'd rather not. Questions about her edge, her timing, her power. And those questions echo louder than any words you could have thrown at her. So remember this, when you don't chase, you don't disappear. You become a mirror. And a mirror is sometimes the scariest thing a person can face. 2, the silent study. What does he do when he's not watching me? When you pull back and stop chasing, she doesn't instantly move on. Don't fall for that act she shows the world. On the outside, she'll appear unbothered, posting selfies, laughing with friends, maybe even acting colder toward you. But inside, she's watching, not in the loud, desperate way, but with quiet intensity. A woman's strongest tool isn't always her beauty, it's her observation. She notices everything, and when you stop giving her energy, she doubles down on her instincts. Now, you might think ignoring her texts or not rushing to comment on her posts means she forgets you. Wrong. It actually makes her curious. She studies you more than before, but in silence. Every little delay in your replies feels like a signal. Every decision not to double tap her story becomes data. She doesn't ask you what's going on. She reads you from a distance. It's almost like she's putting together a puzzle and you're the missing piece that doesn't fit the way it used to. This is where most guys fail. They sense she's pulling away and they panic. They post fake busy stories, act like they're overflowing with women, or drop cryptic quotes about knowing your worth. She sees right through it. Manufactured mystery looks desperate. What she can't decode, though, is real consistency. When you keep living your life, working, training, staying close to your circle, without her as the center, you become unreadable. And unreadable men are magnetic. Picture this. She checks your profile and sees nothing extra. No forced flexing, no subtle shots aimed at her. Just you doing your thing, going to the gym, sharing a laugh with your boys, living. That calmness bothers her more than a dozen unanswered texts ever could. Why? Because it shows you're not out to prove anything. You're not sending signals. You are the signal. Women are used to men reacting, not maintaining. And the second you stop reacting, you stop being predictable. Predictability kills curiosity, but unpredictability, that keeps her awake at night. She'll start scanning your movements like a detective. Who you hang with, what you focus on, whether another woman is in the picture. And the more she studies you, the more emotionally invested she becomes, even if she won't admit it. Your job is simple. Don't break the rhythm. Don't overcompensate. Just keep being consistent. Real mystery isn't about playing games. It's about having a life that doesn't need her validation to make sense. 3. The option spiral. If he's not chasing me, who is he choosing? Here's where her thoughts get darker. When you don't chase, she doesn't assume you're sitting quietly with peace in your heart. No, she assumes you must have options. That's how the female mind fills gaps. It imagines competition. Think about it. If you were blowing up her phone last week and suddenly you're calm, her brain doesn't file it under maybe he's focusing on work. It files it under maybe he's giving his energy to another woman. And once that seed is planted, it grows fast. She starts creating invisible rivals in her head. She compares herself to women who don't even exist. In her mind, these other women are prettier, smarter, more feminine, more alluring. She's not competing with you anymore. She's competing with her own imagination. That's why your silence hurts more than words. A harsh text could make her mad, but your calm detachment makes her insecure. It whispers to her ego that maybe she's not the prize she thought she was, that maybe she's been replaced. And whether you have or haven't doesn't matter. What matters is that she believes you could be. Here's what happens next. She starts signaling harder, a new photo that looks extra polished, a vague caption that sounds like a mood, a story of her out with friends laughing too loudly. All of it is choreography, not because she's moved on, but because she wants to see if you'll break your silence. She's competing with a shadow, and you are the judge she can't read. Your role? Stay composed. Don't overanalyze her posts. Don't rush to prove she's wrong. Just keep living. If you respond, do it with kindness and brevity. If you don't, let her stew in the quiet. Because here's the truth. The more she thinks you have options, the higher your value rises in her eyes. Scarcity creates power, and a man who isn't desperate is always scarce. 4. The micro tests. Will he crack if I nudge him? Once the insecurity sets in, she won't confess it. She won't call you crying or admit she misses the attention. Instead, she tests you, not with big dramatic moves, but with small, subtle ones designed to measure your control. She might delay her replies just to see if you chase harder. She might post a lyric that sounds like heartbreak, hoping you ask if she's okay. She might drop a hey at midnight, pretending it was random. None of these moves are innocent. They're probes. She wants to know if your silence is real or just a trick. If you jump at every breadcrumb, she exhales in relief. Loop closed. Power restored. But if you stay calm, replying when you want, in your own time, without chasing, it rattles her. She realizes her tricks don't work anymore, and that's scarier than losing you, because it means losing her influence. The worst thing you can do here is overthink. Don't treat her tests like puzzles to solve. Treat them like weather. You notice it, but you don't rearrange your whole day for it. If you reply, keep it straight. If you don't apologize later. Either way, your energy stays balanced. Because here's the secret. Her tests aren't really about you. They're about her. She needs to know she still matters. And when you stop flinching, she's forced to face the truth. Her power isn't automatic anymore. 5, the control slip. Why doesn't my silence move him anymore? This is the stage where fear creeps in. Not fear of losing you exactly, but fear of losing control. Control is her anchor. It's not about drama or manipulation. It's about knowing her presence still sways you, that her silence still stings you. When that power slips, she feels something foreign. Helplessness. Helplessness doesn't arrive with tears. It arrives in quiet. She refreshes the screen a little too often, wondering if your name will pop up. She checks her reflection longer than usual, asking herself if she's still got it. She tells herself she's fine, but deep down she knows she's not steering anymore. You see, she's built a language of small moves, delayed replies, vague posts, subtle moods that usually make men fold, but you're not folding. You're not leaning in. You're not begging for clarity. And that silence breaks the script. She doesn't know how to lead when you don't play your role. That's why your calm presence is so powerful. You're not fighting. You're not chasing. You're simply refusing to negotiate your standards. That's more unsettling than any harsh words because it shows you're free. A free man is unchained, and unchained men are hard to replace. 6. The reframe. If I want him, I'll have to meet him properly. By now, she's run through the loops, power checks, silent study, comparison spirals, little tests, and the creeping fear of losing her grip. And then something clicks. If she actually wants you, she'll have to step up differently. This is where the game ends and truth begins. If she values you, she drops the riddles. She stops with the breadcrumbs and comes forward with effort. Clear text, real time, no shadow play. Why? Because your silence taught her that only clarity gets your attention. But here's the beauty. If she doesn't step up, she fades, and you let her. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with calm acceptance. Because a woman who can't meet you directly isn't meant to stay. When you don't chase, you filter without saying a word. You separate those who only wanted control from those who actually want connection. That's the real power of restraint. It doesn't just change her view of you, it changes your view of her. And in the end, that's the point. You're not chasing because you've realized your value doesn't depend on her response. You've reframed the whole story. She's no longer the center, you are. So here's the truth, my friend. When you don't chase, you don't lose her. You force her to face herself. You flip the script without raising your voice. You stop being predictable. And that's when her mind runs wild. Remember this, a man who holds his center is harder to shake than a man who runs after validation. Don't be stone cold, don't be bitter, just be steady. A steady man is rare, and rare always holds value. If you got something out of this, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment saying, I choose calm if you're walking this path, and share this with a brother who needs to hear it. Trust me, he'll thank you later.